Hi, people. Welcome, welcome. This is your girl, Karina, and I am excited to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And that's because a girl has been on a diet and fitness program since she was 14 years old. Okay. A lot of people don't understand that some of the people who try the most diets and fitness programs are people who struggle with their weight. Duh. And they wonder why it doesn't work. There's a lot of topics that I'm very passionate about, but this one is the one that hits very near and dear to me because it's been a lifelong struggle. I have had much success in diet and weight loss before. One of my best success was before I was pregnant. I was in a strong fitness regime, and it was probably one of the most spiritual that I've had up to this journey post pregnancy. And I learned a lot about fitness and how it works for you spiritually. But what I did not get was the emotional aspects that I really needed to understand weight loss from a place that's more wholesome, more organic, and more self creative. This is a topic that is for a very specific person, someone who has been struggling with for a while now, and you also love spirituality and metaphysics. Okay. Maybe you have heard the just eat right and lose weight, and you either are resistant to it, which is very natural, or you just know that it doesn't work for you. And so I wanted to bring about a more metaphysical way, a metaphysical approach, and not just a self love way and self love approach. While self love has a lot to do with it, and self love is a beautiful side effect to the metaphysical approach, I call it the self creation approach, because then you could take everything that we have been talking about and really make it into something that you apply to all facets and areas of life. Okay, so it actually starts with my Mars series. So definitely check out the Mars series. It's called Weight Loss. Mars can show you how to lose weight using weight loss. And it's so much to talk about. So I want to be able to be clear. I want everyone to be able to get something out of this. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to slow down, take my time. I first want to talk about this battle between feminine energy and masculine energy. Let's start there because that's the first thing that's coming up for me. And it's been a topic for a lot of people lately to talk about masculine women and feminine men and alphas and betas and blah 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 blah. And um of course, here on this channel on I have Karina, we understand that we embody both energies. Okay. When we're dealing with weight loss and overweight, we're actually dealing with a balance of our masculine and feminine energies. I want to be clear that weight is a physical manifestation of feminine energy. Okay, so for instance, when a woman goes through puberty, she gains weight, right? When you get older in age, you gain weight, right? These are all feminine, these are manifestations of feminine qualities. Okay, so when we talk about weight loss, what somebody is really needs to understand metaphysically is that this is a method in redirecting your masculine energy. Okay, because building of muscles, right, building muscles and doing fitness regimes are a part of releasing testosterone. So this is very much connected to the manifestation of your masculine energy. Okay, so that's something to consider. When we look at heavyweight people, right? They are embodying a manifestation of overabundance of feminine energy and maybe oppression of masculine energy, or overweight people have a lot of mental masculine energy in which they are using their mind and intellect to protect themselves, right? Because masculine energy is protection. But the physicality of their weight is an imbalance of their feminine energy. Okay. Um, so this is something to consider. So when somebody tells you to lose weight in a metaphysical way, they're telling you to redirect your masculine energy, right? not lose it, not change it, not, because everybody has both in them, within them. You see it in the astrology, even like it's everywhere. Okay. We need to understand that we have to have both, that not one gender can choose to just embody one. That would be considered a huge imbalance, right? In the makeup of the science of being a human. We need both. We need the balance. Okay. So, now I want to talk more personally about my body weight, and specifically about the image of bodies that have been difficult for me, because my body post pregnancy had a lot to do with mommy weight, and it had a lot to do with issues being a mother. Okay. So my masculine energy was protecting myself mentally from whoever would seem to be a threat. But I really started to dive into looking at myself and looking at my resistance to my body. So one of the first things that I recommend is that you do that, is that you start to look at yourself. Okay. You'll know when you're really detached from your body if you do some of the things that I used to do, which is only use mirrors that see you from the neck up, only record yourself from the neck up. That was me for a very long time, the past 3 years, because that was what I was exhibiting, which is the masculine energy of my mind, and ignoring and detaching from the body. So this gave me a chance to start to feel the feelings that I am suppressing, or I was suppressing. Okay. And as a mother, one of the feelings that I really was suppressing was anxiety and resistance and anger towards motherhood. I felt like I was sacrificing all of my needs and whatnot. And so it was also inhibiting my relationship to myself as a mother, and towards my child. So, the other thing in understanding your journey metaphysically and spiritually with weight loss is, one, challenging yourself to look at your full body and start to feel the feelings that come up. And then the next step is feeling the feelings that come up and seeing why they're there and where they're coming from, and looking at the reality of where you're some of these feelings. Okay. Feelings and emotions are feminine energy, and we harbor these emotions in our body. Okay, so when we do that, and then we detach from our body, we physically detach from our body by staying neck up, right? Mouth, tongue, um, desires, and mental desires. So we're getting up here and detaching from here, but down here and down is where the emotions are, and they are screaming for you to see them, right? So this is why metaphysically your body is getting larger, because it's like, okay, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to how I'm feeling because you've been conditioned to not to. Well, I'm just going to get bigger so you see me. Do you see me now? Your body's like, do you see me now? Do you see me now? Do you see me now? So the body is calling for your emotional attention. All right. And my story about my relationship to motherhood evoked deep feelings of guilt and sadness. This also translated into um, feeling guilty for feeling sad. Like I should be a happy mother who wants to be everything for her daughter, but I was really, really struggling and having resistance to trying to be this happy mother. So the resistance cycle starts to happen a lot, okay? And from my conditioning, showing feelings of sadness is just not something that is allowed. So I had to go through a phase of having a relationship to my sadness. Okay. And so this is something that I feel like certain people might want to embrace. Now, it may not be sadness for you, it might be anger, right? But either way, you're starting to develop a relationship to your emotions. Okay. And we could go deeper into this, but I want to keep it moving so that you guys get all of the little tidbits. And then if people comment more on things, on the areas, you'll tell me which one you want me to talk about more, and we'll do another live. Okay. So I talked about it, building and facing and confronting your body image. That's the first step. Write these things down. I'm writing them down too. Okay. Building and confronting your body image, because a lot of the issue is that you're detached from your body. Okay. Building and confronting body image. Okay. The second thing is feeling the feelings that you feel, that you feel, and have been trying to detach from, and have been trying to detach from. Okay. And some of these feelings might be feelings of resistance, sadness, or anger. You might be feeling them all, or you might be feeling just one of them. Okay. So you're gonna start to see that these feelings are serious, that they have incredible power and strength. Okay. Let me just tell you that when I started to relationship as a mother, I was having so many bursts of crying. I've never been a crier. I'm a very earthy, fiery, elemental person, but I have never cried so much in my life just from looking at my sadness and not trying to eat it away or not trying to wish it away. So the minute that I looked at my sadness and I said, "Oh my gosh, like I just don't think that I'm a good mother. Oh my gosh, I really am not a good mother." I'm like, I started to look at all of the pressure and the sadness that I was feeling and where it's coming from. And I would just have moments where I was crying anywhere. Okay. This is, I literally thought I was pregnant. But what was actually happening was that the 3 years of motherhood was now coming up because I had finally challenged myself to my body image and looked at my body, started standing and looking at it in pictures, feeling the feelings that I feel and seeing like how it applies to my everyday life, right? So you're going to feel those feelings and you're going to see how those feelings show up in life and relationships, and then allow your body to do what it does. Just like how your body breathes without asking you to, right? And even as a mother, when we get pregnant, like I'm not telling my body to make the child. Like I mean, maybe I am metaphysically, but in a lot of ways, it's not something that we consciously have to control and figure out how to do. And this is the beautiful thing about this journey, in which you can just trust that your body knows what to do. Your job is to just confront yourself, is to attach to the parts that you have detached from and let the body do what it's supposed to do. Now, some of us are going to have to figure out ways in which we can allow the body to do it in a safe and healthy way. Okay. Now, if you find yourself being in a more crying fit like I was, then it may not be so bad. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that you might want to cry when you're at the park or when you're at a family function and you don't know why. But let's say if you're dealing with more feelings of anger, then now we're going to have to really think about what you can do to start offsetting that anger. Okay? And some of these things could be walking, taking a walk, joining a fitness class. See, the whole thing is that uh, the idea and the solution to diet and fitness, it's coming from a good place and it makes a lot of sense scientifically, but it doesn't make sense metaphysically, and it doesn't make sense from a place of self-creation, because it's something you have to do rather than something that your body is calling you to do. So when you start to tap into your emotions and see your emotions for what it is, here are some of the benefits that happen. Some of the things that start to happen is that you see when you're feeling sad and you didn't realize it and you just started eating, or started eating certain foods in abundance. Okay, started overeating certain foods in abundance. And so you are dealing with the fact that you're mindlessly eating. So people try to take diet and fitness thing and be like, you just have to stop. You just have to diet and you just have to work out. But self-creation comes from evoking from the internal space. So when you create a relationship with your emotions, and then your body let's figure out what we're gonna do. The next time you start eating, let's say, a pint of ice cream, you're like, wait a second, my emotions are trying to numb themselves. Like, you start to develop a relationship with your emotions, where now you honor and respect your sadness, you honor and respect your anger, and instead of trying to suppress and repress them through whatever action it is that you've been taking, you start to evoke the actions you need to take to release them. So it's the same thing, but it comes from a whole different place because it comes from inside of you. And no diet and fitness program is customized to your emotional space. And the thing that we keep missing metaphysically is that weight gain is feminine, feminine is emotions, the body is feminine, and the body holds your emotions. Get the emotions and get the life that you've been looking for. Attach to your emotions and don't shun them and get the life you are really looking for, because it outstretches past eating and working out. It outstretches towards a lifestyle of worthiness, purposefulness, and honor and respect of your own body and your own ability to trust yourself, which also becomes a problem with the whole diet and fitness thing, because it teaches you to not trust your hunger. So you're supposed to just abide by this, like, this rule. And let's go back. Masculine energy is rules, feminine energy is no rules. It's chaos, it's pure chaos. So you're trying to bring rules to my chaos. You're trying to bring rules to my sexual repression. We're going to get into that. You're trying to bring rules to my emotional repression. You're trying to tell me not to feel, to just do, right? Work out, run a marathon or whatever. But we're not dealing with the core issue, which is the repression of the emotions in the body. Okay. So having this relationship to your emotions is the key step. It is, if you get nothing else, because I have a few more things I want to say. I'm creating my own little metaphysical course on weight loss. I'm really excited about it. But if you never see me again, if you never hear a message ever again, please understand that if you're going through a weight issue, weight challenge, or you know someone who is, that the emotions is the perfect part. And you wonder why people have resistance to the atypical diet and fitness is because people are not addressing the emotions that are driving the person towards numbing their pain. That's it. I mean, it is so simple. It is just, that is it. Case is closed. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Okay. So it was actually my relationship to body image that also there's a lot going on with me being a mother. Because for me, gaining weight in the midsection is my thing. It's always been my thing, even before I had a child. Okay. Now, there's a symbol of the hourglass figure that I've always wanted to be and become, but it just wasn't me. It was never me for until I decide that I want to do it, right? But what was happening is that I was having a bad relationship to my belly weight gain. Okay, so I want to talk now specifically to people who gained weight in the belly. Okay, because the symbol of an hourglass figure is one version of femininity, but it is also very much so masculine in the sense that your muscle tone is and testosterone levels are actually at a place and releasing at a place to create an hourglass figure, especially when it comes to a flat belly. Okay. There's also a certain lifestyle that you need to have in order to have a flat belly. And I'm not talking about eating your greens. Give me, while eating your greens is absolutely necessary and important, but there's a certain emotional lifestyle that happens with flat belly women that does not happen with women who gain weight in the belly fat. Okay, because we're talking about metaphysics, emotions, and femininity, and the imbalance of our feminine and masculine natures. Now, a symbol of a woman who has more belly fat is a symbol of not an overweight woman. It's a symbol of the mother. It's the symbol of a mother. A woman who gains weight in her belly is the symbol of a mother. Somebody tell me they don't understand that. Somebody tell me they don't understand that. Okay, because even if she doesn't have a baby in her belly, it actually signifies that she carries the burdens and stress of other people. And through the scientific measurement of the hormone cortisol, you can discover that this is the case. When people produce a lot of cortisol, it's because they are having a bad relationship to their stress. Stress comes from feeling like you're under pressure and carrying the burdens of other people's expectations. Sometimes they become your expectations because you enmesh yourself with other people's expectations, right? Which happens a lot in motherhood, because as a mother, you are carrying the burden of an entire person's well being, right? So, whether you are having a baby or not, if you carry weight in your belly, you are carrying the symbol of a mother. And one of the things that you need to first look at is if you are content with that or not. Okay? Because now we're talking about the act of self creation. In our most metaphysical, we are shapeshifters, role players, changing for others or for ourselves. Okay, utilizing the zodiac energies of Cancer and Taurus, we find that these are the placements that will embody the most ideas of weight gain. Whether you have sun, moon, or rising here, or other personal planets here, if you have any sort of weight issues, usually it's coming from the Cancer or Taurus energies. These are the energies that seem to carry the weight on a zodiacal astrological measurement. Caring too much is the dark side of Cancer, caring about what other people think and why. More caring, 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 caring. While Cancer is a sign of caring, caring too much on the dark side creates this over enmeshment. Enmeshment is a real psychological word. Over burdens of caring too much about other people's problems, right? So you literally, not as a mother cares about their child, right? They have to make sure they eat shit and all of that all together. You're either doing that for your child or you're doing it for somebody else, and that's why you're gaining weight in your belly, baby, because you're the symbol of the mother, and you're taking it too far if you want to change. Okay, so now we have to go back from our first steps and talk about challenging your body image, looking at your body and saying, well, do I love my body? Because if you love your body at the weight that it is, then all you got to do is maintain healthy emotional relationship with yourself and let your body be what it be and keep it pushing. Okay. But let's say you're like me, I've got a Venus in Aries. I had to first stop lying to myself, and then I had to start saying, yeah, I'm obsessed with, big asses and tight waists. I projected on my husband that that's what he likes, but the truth is that I want it. I want to be that person. So me challenging my body image made me see where is it I am obsessed with not being me, where I'm obsessed with wanting something else outside of me. So this is my personal take. It's not going to apply for everyone, but this is why you have to challenge yourself to look at your body and understand the emotions that come with it and really just sit with it. Okay, so this was almost like a 4 or 5 day phase in sadness for me when I really started to look at the fact that I was not happy with my body and wishing I had somebody else's. But what this created, because like I said, that mother energy and the symbol of the mother and gaining weight in the stomach and creating the stress hormone cortisol and carrying the burdens of others as our cancerian parts of us do, right? This ability to do and sit with my sadness created a new lifestyle for myself, already transforming within those 5 days. What were some of the things that started to happen with my lifestyle? I started to tell the people around me, specifically my husband and my mother, and people like, I'm just not feeling too good today. I'm feeling really sad. I don't think I've been with my husband for a long time. I don't know if I've ever come to him and just been like, I feel really sad. But during this phase of about 5 to 7 days, when I really started looking at myself, it was so much emotions that I could not repress it. I couldn't pretend anymore to have it all together. I couldn't pretend like I was strong. I just couldn't do it because it was literally crippling me from the inside out. So I had to start a new lifestyle change, which is telling people, I need some time by myself, or I can't do what may be expected of me because I need some time to handle my sadness. And some of that was literally sitting on my bed and just crying out emotions. And if you guys know me as an artist, I actually also started to work into my creativity. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that. But it was from creating this new relationship with my emotions that my creativity started to take a spin for the turn as well, in which I now felt the sadness, and after my phase of sadness started to want to release it. Remember that releasing is masculine energy. And remember at the top of the video, I said that whenever it's I want to lose weight, what is really being metaphysically said is that I want to redirect my masculine energy. And so there was a place of me protecting myself that was occurring. And now that I was dealing with my sadness, I was wanting to release. Release was a new way of redirecting my masculine energy. So I wanted to release my emotions through my creativity. And this started to open me up to a more balanced way of seeing myself. And I think that my hormones started to balance naturally just through the emotional work itself. But what ends up happening, because depending on the emotions that you have, you might say, okay, I need to release myself through a creative work like I'm doing. Or you might say, look, I need to release myself and go for a walk. There were certain times where I literally felt more anger and needed to do that. So now it's crazy because it's like somebody could diagnose me for diet and fitness a regimen. But me doing my creative work, if any of you guys have seen my visuals and me showing you the behind the scenes, that shit is some physical work. And I have been sweating and pushing my body just to release my creative work. So I'm working out, baby. Okay. But some of you guys might be like, okay, now I'm feeling this anger. I understand now what I've been repressing. I look at my lifestyle. I see how I'm relating to the people in my life and how this anger is driving me, or this sadness is driving me, or this resistance is driving me. And then you might be like, take me to the gym. And that's how you do a diet and fitness regimen that is customized to you, that is a part of your own self creation, and not a part of these health and weight loss gimmicks that people are pushing out for you to really just craft yourself to be like them. The energy is almost the same, because both programs are saying to work out. But that program is saying work out so you can look like everybody else, so you could be healthy, so you could do it like everybody else. And this program of metaphysics, spirituality, and self creation comes from you. It's customizable by the core of it. By the heart of it, it is customized because you're going to work out for purpose. You have a purpose. You have a deep relationship with yourself. You have a deep relationship with your need to release. And it starts to be way more powerful and impactful because of that relationship. Okay. The other aspect of weight gain that you can find in astrology will be in from the Taurus zodiac. And it's the same idea of taking on the burden of what people think and why, which in turn changes you. Physically taking on weight, taking on burdens. This is also the axis of sex. Okay. So Cancer becomes caring too much and taking on the emotional burdens of people, right? Either the ones that they put on you, or the expectations they put on you, or the ones that they just have for themselves, right? So as a mother, you'll be like, okay, my person really wants this in their life, and I need to do what I need to do to help them get it. That's taking on, like, that is their personal life. But you take on the, I'm going to help them get it, I'm going to help mother them, I'm going to coach them, I'm going to guide them, and that's beautiful. But if you take it on too much and you neglect your emotions and you neglect yourself, now you become into the darker side of the mother. Okay, you come to the darker side of the mother. You start to create stress cortisol hormones. So that's how Cancer works. Taurus energy takes it on physically, takes on the physical burden. Think about the symbol of the bull, right? Where people can pack their luggage and all of that on a physical Taurus. So Tauruses quite often can appear to be very stocky like a bull. They can be very stocky like cows. And that's because they learn how to take on people's stuff physically. So they might literally do things for others, that others should know how to do for themselves. But the thing that I really want to talk about is the Taurus Scorpio axis and the relationship of sex, because Taurus's opposite sign is Scorpio. Okay. And Scorpio is the sexual driven sign next to Aries, right? Because Mars is planetary ruler. But because Taurus is on the same axis, what does this mean? So this is the next thing I want to talk to you guys about. If you're still with me, if you're still hanging on, we're about to take it to another level, in which eating, right? Because we talked about hormonal imbalances, masculine, feminine imbalances, but eating is another form of sex. I mean, it's not another form of sex because we use the term eating in sex, but eating actual foods, right? Lovely, delicious cakes and treats and things like that. I've never really been about that. I haven't been super big on cakes and treats, but the idea of food, whatever it is that you like, that it is another form of sex. So your relationship to food, right, is very similar to a repressed relationship with sex. Okay? Now, this repression may come from a place where you distrust your hunger, you don't trust your desires, you don't trust your hunger, right? And so because you have this mistrust in your own self, you detach from your body and begin to just seek the dopamine factors. This is where we become overeaters. But really, it's not about, oh, you need to eat the right foods. Because the minute that somebody comes to you and says you need to eat the right foods, it is an assumption that you don't know how to eat for yourself. And it's not true. You have to eliminate the relationship of mistrust of your own hunger and desires. So when we look at Taurus energy, we're looking at Venus energy and we're looking at desires. And so typically, this might be somebody who represses desires or was not allowed to desire things in the way that they wanted. And so they take on food as a way of freeing themselves for having some sort of desire that they can partake in. And this is where Taurus energy can play a very big part in somebody who gains weight. So they're either physically taking on the weight of somebody, right? Somebody's physical expectations of them, like what they should be doing or what they should be carrying. Also, in Taurus energy, the darker side of Taurus, you will find that because people won't curse out a Cancer, but they'll curse out a Taurus. So you could take on the judgments and the things that people say and like things like that, right? Because you're taking it on physically. Um, but also, the real deal that I want to talk about, that I have talked about, is that Taurus is where you find the manifestation of repressed sexuality and overeating for dopamine factors, for some sense of radical sovereignty in your desires. So it's like when a child has a tantrum, they quite often have a tantrum because they have no control over anything. They're completely at the will of an adult. And so a tantrum is one way that they can at least control something, even though it seems wild, because they still have control over their bodies. Even if an adult slaps them, which, I don't, I'm not about that at all. But even then, their bodies are their only thing they control. So when you take that idea and you put it into sexual repression, somebody who is not allowed to express themselves sexually, somebody who was repressed sexually by whatever conditions, circumstances, or culture they were part of, somebody who just has a bad relationship with desiring things, right? They can take their sovereignty out through the act of dopamine factors of food, drugs, or sex. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all hand in hand here. But quite often they won't do it through sex because sex is physical and is a fitness. Sex is fitness, right? So it's also a very key factor to me that because it's Taurus energy and it opposes Scorpio, that they use, the non-physical fitness choice in carrying out their desires. So you can be free. I mean, you can rebel with your body. Your body is like a weapon you can rebel with. That's my idea with the tantrums, right? So with overeating, you can rebel through, well, this is something that I desire, and nobody's going to stop me from eating. I can desire whatever the hell I want. And then what does the fitness regimen and the fitness world, diet and fitness world tell you? You can't eat. So they repress you in the one place that you feel like you have some sovereignty. So really the key is to free yourself on both sides. Free your Scorpio side and your Taurus side. Well, if you free your Scorpio side, you'll free your Taurus side, in the sense that if you free your sexual desires and allow yourself to have them, then you can free the parts of you that are overcompensating in the overeating and whatnot. Now you can develop a relationship with your hunger that is way healthier, in which you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm really feeding for a brownie and it's fine. It's absolutely okay. You know what I'm saying? Because your body's balancing itself out. You're allowing yourself to have desires and to be physically attractive and to be physically sexual You know what I'm saying? And so now you can start to trust all aspects of that Taurus and Scorpio axis, because we're speaking metaphysically, so we're using some of the astrology. So I hope you guys are able to keep with me on, because I'm all over the place. I know I am. But this is what I'm really trying to share with you is the journey that I'm really starting to understand metaphysically about how weight loss is done. And really, again, let's lock in that when we're saying we want to lose weight, we're saying that we want to redirect our masculine energy. Okay. So that's how this idea of overeating even comes, because what's happening is that your sexual side, your Mars side, is really repressed. And then the reason that you may be some of the people who resist diet and fitness, either one, you tried it and didn't work because it wasn't dealing with your relationship to your emotional body, or two, somebody else is telling you what to eat and you're like, look, I can't be sexy and I can't eat what I want. Because like I said, that overeating and dopamine factors is a rebellion. It's like, this is the one thing I can't control. Okay. So when we look at our resistance to things, you'll see that in your resistance, what you want and what others want for you are the same thing, that you guys really aren't separate, but it's the way in which it's being taken out that only you can create. Because if you leave it up to somebody else to create it for you, then you repeat the cycle of taking on the emotional burdens of somebody else, taking on the expectations of somebody else, taking on the physical expectations of somebody else, detaching from your emotional needs, because nobody lives in your body, so they don't know when you're sad and when you're angry and when you're choosing to repress it, or just detach from it. Nobody else can tell you those things. So the act of self-creation is first looking at where you're resistant and knowing that what you want, others want for you. They really do. They just don't know how to do it for you. You have to do it for you, but you've been so much in the act of doing it for other people, and it doesn't work because you're not in the place of self creation. So almost the results are the same. The results would be the same. Is this the process, which is the key? The key to everything is the process. The key to everything is the process. The results are always the same: success. It is how you get there that we have the most difficult relationship with. And so, this metaphysical approach might be one way that you've never discovered. So, yeah, when you go and start lifting weights, you're releasing testosterone. Women who have really hot bodies, and I've been around them because I've worked in the fitness industry, women who have hot bodies in their 60s and 70s. I wish I could show you the 70-year-old woman who was teaching bar classes when I was working in the fitness industry. These women have hot bodies, but that's because they do muscle training, right? And they're releasing their testosterone, because that's what it is. Losing weight and muscle training is about you having a balanced masculine, divine masculine within you. Okay. And at the same time, you're balancing your divine feminine by having relationships with your emotions. And this is the metaphysical way that I've been doing it and have discovered such powerful things like manifesting weight loss without as much effort. Now, if I get my rocks off and kicks off of manifesting it with a lot of effort, then that's fine. But I'm just saying this is a this is another way to do it. Okay. One of the things that I'm really focusing on in the course that I'm creating when it comes to metaphysics and weight loss, I do talk about physically doing stuff, but one of the first things I talk about is getting your posture in alignment, because your posture helps you to lock in the mind body connection. And then also, your mind and body start to speak to each other, help you speak to each other without you having to do the effort, without you having to be like, all right, I need to sit and listen to my body. Where, yeah, sometimes you do need to do that, but a lot of people are out of alignment. A lot of people are out of alignment. I was out of alignment in many ways. My shoulders were hunched over like this. I'm telling you, like my mommy body is this. This is my posture. And like I took pictures, and like I told you, I took pictures as I started confronting my physicality. And I'm like, are my shoulders like uneven? No, like like this is just my mommy body, and I'd walk around like this with like this shoulder all the way down, and it felt normal to me. Okay. The other thing was anterior pelvic tilt. I learned a lot about the pelvis tilting. And even though, I had pelvic issues after post pregnancy, I always had an anterior pelvic tilt. I've always had it. So a lot of the ways you can help yourself effortlessly tap into this balance is through aligning the body, working on movements that help with your posture, because it's almost like once you lock in the mind, body, and everything starts to work and flow. Like I literally would just spend a few hours, a few minutes, hours, please, a few minutes, just pulling in my pelvis in and out, just to feel what it feels like that the normal alignment felt uncomfortable. And then trying to hold that normal alignment while I walk around, and being conscious of myself when my posture is like this. This all contributes to weight loss, because you're trying to bring your body into balance and alignment. Posture should be the first thing physically that I believe you should work on. I believe you should work on your posture before anything else, because then you literally can have your body do a lot of the work for you. Just like how your body knows to breathe and digest, your body knows how to lose weight and get you back to that healthy place. But you got to help it out by being just conscious of where your shoulders are at, where your spine is at, where your pelvis is at. And so I told you guys that my relationship was with my hourglass figure versus my mommy body. Okay. And so, yeah, I want to have, I want to be able to say that I've had that hourglass figure, and maybe one day I will have it. But I'll tell you one thing: I used to pressure myself to work out, to, look at all the change your hip dips and get a bigger booty videos. I used to do that a lot, in the beginning of being a mom and just wanting to transform my body. And I never was motivated to do it, but now that I started working on my pelvis, I'm naturally like, oh, let me strengthen my glutes, because a strong glutes and glutes that have good muscle and whatnot, it means that I'm healthier. It means that my alignment will stay more in alignment. My posture and my back and spine will be more in alignment. So it's almost like I'm already on my way. And I'll tell you, I watched a lot of trainers talk about how, like, this big booty culture, because it's all, if anything comes external, it can turn into unhealthy, toxic behavior. And so while having a strong butt is important for your body's posture, the constant big booty culture that I submerge myself in, a lot of the people that I've been watching, because you can be an expert after watching about 8 videos on YouTube. Did you know that? So I became an expert in posture alignment after watching a lot of trainers talk about anterior pelvic tilt, and how a lot of women stick out their booties to overcompensate, because big booty culture is what's in. And what they end up doing is pushing their pelvis backwards, which really actually fucks up their back. So this journey for me taught me to stop signing up for this trend, and just keep working on balancing mind and body, masculine and feminine within my body, the release of my masculine energy and the receptivity of my feminine energy, right? So the release of testosterone through fitness and working out and creativity, and the receptivity of my feminine by having time and space to hold myself in emotional moments, right? Like feeling overwhelmingly sad and feeling overwhelmingly angry, and learning how to sit with my feelings, understand where they're coming from, understand the triggers, and then start to do the masculine energy of releasing those feelings. This in turn creates a beautiful cycle of self-love. And so now when I look at my mommy body, right, through my creative works, when I see my belly sticking out, I'm happy. I look at my body. One of my first creative works, I looked at my body for the first time through a completely different lens. And my body itself had not changed much. But instead of looking at my body and saying, I hate my belly and I hate my body and I want an hourglass figure, After the process of looking at my relationship to mothering and my relationship to sexual repression, my relationships to how I was detaching from my emotions, right? Redirecting my masculine energy towards creativity. Once I started doing these things, I looked at my mommy body and started to be like, yo, this body is banging. So it was through the perspective shift and the work and the shift of perspective that allowed me to start seeing where it is that I can truly love all aspects of myself. And this is where I say that true confidence lies, and being able to create a strong and healthy relationship to what are your appeared quote unquote flaws. Creating a relationship to your apparent or appearing flaws creates way more confidence than just trying to be perfect. And in a lot of ways, trying to be perfect only creates more insecurity because it's so external. So, with all of that being said, um, weight loss is a very powerful thing. It shows to you that you can take your weight loss and lifestyle, shift your lifestyle, and create a lifestyle for you that actually is way more purposeful. I think that when you take the weight loss approach metaphysically, you find that it is a lifestyle change, but it's not just a lifestyle change about the healthy foods that you eat. It's a lifestyle change in your trusting of you know what to eat for yourself. You know, whether it is a salad or it's a dessert, and you being able to enjoy what you desire. If you desire dessert, you are allowed to enjoy it. That is a healthy relationship to eating versus a I can only have my dessert on cheat days. It's not customizable to your self creation. It is so external, and it's only going to create a same cycle because it has nothing to do with a cheat day and scheduling out your shit. It has everything to do with you trusting yourself and knowing what you eat, because you trust your body, because you love your body, because you've worked out your relationship with your emotional space and your flaws, creating the most beautiful possible version of you. And now my ache and desire to change my body and to have somebody else's body is no, it's not that it's non-existent, but it has dissipated tremendously. And still I'll have moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to amp it up a little bit, but it's coming from a place of me versus I need to follow somebody's, advice, because a lot of the times that advice is just not customizable to me. When I feel vital enough to take on a fitness program, I will. When I feel like I'm ready to love myself to another level or to a different level, I'll decide that. But there's this beautiful thing that I discovered in my creation process was that weight loss is not just about diet and fitness, but it's about an entire lifestyle change, because no longer am I just carrying on the burdens of everybody else and being immovable and stuck, not being able to do the things that I want to do. So my weight loss journey became more of doing the things that I want to do and watching the weight come off. And a lot of this also is interplayed in which your lifestyle is not purposeful and it's not passionate enough. And so you're also repressed from your passions. And so once you begin to develop these beautiful relationships with yourself, you might come to certain places where I have. And I'm so proud only because I never had before, which is to look at my body as it is and be like, all these other body types that I've been obsessing over having are boring, because the one that I have is the one that I have, and it's kind of cool. It's got different lumps in different places. It's got different scars in different places. And you know what I'm saying? Like when you scroll through your feed and you see same body type after same body type after same, what do you call it? Photo editing type after same. Sorry if I'm judging anybody. Plastic body type. You're gonna come across me and you're gonna see somebody who looks different. And for a minute there, I had pride about the body that I'm in. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And so the journey continues for me with continuing to embrace my emotional self and then output and execute the lifestyle that I want to have for myself. And that's it. That's on period. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you'd like me for me to talk more, then I definitely will. But if you feel like this talk was the one that you needed, then just give me a thumbs up and share this with somebody that you think needs to hear it. I know it's not for all ears, but for the people that I know that it's for, I'm here to share with you that I've been there. I've been down that road with you, and try this on. Try this road on. Peace and love.